One of the biggest surprises for me has been working with other authors because it's really started to drive home how differently we all work, how differently we put our manuscripts together. It's taught me a lot about what other authors enjoy about the writing process and what they struggle with. This really first started to become clear when I would offer a critique and I'd hear from an author, "Well, I can see where you're coming from, and I think you're probably right, but I don't know how to do that." As authors, we all have different strengths and weaknesses. I always hated the first draft, found it really painful, but loved revision. Revision has always been really exciting to me. It's just so much easier for me to work with a draft that's already down, and it's where I see a book really come to life. But a lot of authors really struggle with revision. And if there's one thing I've learned about writing in all of this, it's that if you struggle with something, it is simply because you do not have the tools for that part of the process in your writer's toolbox. I know I had to work, even after getting my master's, on putting some solid drafting tools in my own toolbox. So, this course is also about providing authors who don't like revision with a revision tool. Often you can workshop a manuscript with a critique group or get feedback from a beta reader that's something along the lines of, "Well, it drags," which, depending on your genre, can be a terrible thing to hear. I mean, the last thing you want a thriller to do is drag, right? Or if you've written a romance and you're alternating chapters between the two love interests, you might hear, "I couldn't keep them straight. I lost track of who was speaking in each chapter." Now, instantly, when you get that kind of feedback, it is natural to assume what you have is a content issue. And it can be, but it can also be something as simple as a chapter break problem. I always like to approach a revision kind of the way a doctor would. I mean, say a patient comes in with a foot that's swollen and infected. The doctor doesn't immediately start in saying, "Well, we've got to cut this foot off." They say, "Let's look for a splinter that might need to be removed." Think of this revision technique as getting in the habit of looking for the splinter before you start amputating. So before you do a deep dive and rip a manuscript apart, before you assume you have to completely replot an entire novel or turn your main characters inside out, let's start with chapter breaks, which can be a simple solution to what often sound like much more complex problems.